Welcome back to Brush Up Your Game, and today a look back at the Gorn Raider card pack. And yes, I'm aware this is going out of order, but I wanted to do follow-ups. So this week, a bit of follow-ups on ships that we've taken a look at, a re-review look at, and we're going to look at the card packs and what those brought and how they made things better and so on and so forth. So the Gress'sril keeps the same stats, drops down to 18 points. Should the Scorn be there? Yeah, it should. But the Gress'sril here, modify attack dice step, disable one shield on the ship, cancel hit or crit. And this is a really good named ability, keeps shields up so that you get to use it next round. You'd have to live through it, but with improved deflector screens, very nice. Double crew, weapon tech, gives you some room for a second crew on independent. There's some nice independent crew. Not a ton of independent crew that work for like absorbing damage, which I think is one of the areas I'm hoping to see more of with this Adversaries of Delta Quadrant pack. But you know, we'll see where it goes. Gress'sril still very nice ship. All right, Lar or Lahar. Is a 7 skill captain, 5 points with the talent slot. Does count as a Gorn captain. And at the end of the deal damage step, you spend your ship's target lock token. Choose a face down damage card on the defending ship and flip it face up to resolve the effect of the damage card. If you can track those damage cards, if you've inflicted a crit, they've repaired it, and you can flip it back, that can be great. If you just take a random chance at hoping you get a warp core breach, a direct hit, a minor explosion, those sorts of things, also can be great opportunities. I think LAR can work in conjunction with the sensor array, the Klingon card from Alliance that lets Klingons share their target lock, or, well, presumably Klingons, but other factions would work too, but share target locks around. And that way you're not necessarily spending Lars target lock, but you're using another ship's. And then you could even have like a support ship running that, use the support ship's target lock, and Lar gets to benefit more from it. I don't think that's amazing, but I think it's a nice extra bonus use that makes Lars slightly more playable than he used to be. So that's Alliance kind of making things even better, and I like that side of it. Gorn Captain is one of our rare non-unique captains, and that much can be nice, but for 4 skill 3 points feels excessive. Action, disable this card, target an opposing ship, disable the captain equipped to the target ship. Nice way if you want to mess with people's captains. I will give you that. Downside, you're doing it early, so they can just spend their action to re-enable, and they haven't really lost a lot. They've lost their action for a round, but you haven't changed the order of things. If you can find a way to use multiple Gorn captains and disable multiple of their captains, I guess, one fun thing might be to use Gorn captain to disable a super high captain, and then use Golma Dread to knock out that captain, because the moment it's disabled, the captain is skill 0 or skill 1, I forget the ruling there, but then Golma Dread would just take out the captain rather than have it go to a roll. That could be a fun use. Very situational, and I'm not sure viable, because Gorn Captain is still expensive. But you do get a talent holder, and you get a decent skill there. I like a generic at skill 4. But still feels expensive. Now, Gorn Hegemony is a talent, can only go on a Gorn Raider, has to be equipped to Cecilak or a Gorn Captain. For an action, you discard, treat the captain skill of the captain equipped to this ship as 0 this game round, but the ship gets to make 2 attacks instead of 1 this game round. So it's a trade-off Are you going to make enough good attacks? The Gorn Raider puts in a decent punch. It would let you make a primary weapon and a disruptor bombardment, or like disruptor bombardment particle beam. Uh, we've seen some play here. I I find this intriguing. I think this could work in mission play, but aside from that, I don't see it a lot. I don't think it's the answer to a lot, because you're going last. And I think giving up your skill to go last is going to hurt a lot, especially as an action. So now you're making your attacks without quality. If you can get that quality from somewhere else, if you can do this action like as a free action from, say, Martok 8, giving that action to a lower captain, that could work. But yeah, it's a weird trade off, and I'm not sure I love it. But again, I think there is some potential to it. Um, can you run it off of Lurin's? No, you can't run it off of Lurin's Bird of Prey because Lurin targets another Ferengi ship. Um, but there might be something if you could find a way. Huh. If you could find a way to put this on the Dreadnought, and I don't think it's possible, and if it is, it's certainly not easy. Um, but yeah, if there's a way to get this on Dreadnought, you'd have to do it with lore, and I don't think it works. But that would work because Dreadnought has its own printed skill. Um, but that's what you need, is you need something that has another replacement value for attacking orders. Um, and actually, I think it's still locked to a Gorn Raider. So ignore that fact, or idea. Yeah, I think we're kind of stuck being at skill 0. If the Gorn ever gets some more cards, a Strange New World faction pack, which I think would be amazing, then this card gets better. Yeah. Hidden Explosives is a card that had some issues when it first came out. But yeah, nowadays, with some ruling clarifications, it's, well, not seen much play at all. Setup, you target an opposing ship, you place a hidden explosives token on the target ship, place 4 time tokens on this card. So in 4 rounds, it's going to go away. When those time tokens run out, you discard the card, you roll 3 attack dice, and whatever hits and crits you roll, that ship takes that damage to the hull immediately. It's a unique card. It's 3 points. I like the idea. It's a way to put hull damage on bulky ships, defensive ships. It's a time delay tactic. Yeah, nowadays I think it's fine because it's a card that serves a purpose. I knowing that those time tokens can't be modified because they're placed in setup helps, because you can't use things like Balana's codes to move time tokens around and stuff like that. Anyway, I like the idea. I dislike the fact that you could roll those dice and get nothing, and you've spent 3 points. But what you have done is instill some fear into your opponent, right? They're worried about one of their ships, especially if they brought a whole 3 or less ship, because you could roll 3 hits and their ship's destroyed. Even if they have 7 shields on that ship, 3 hits to the hull, they're gone. Nothing they can do can stop it, because it is dealt damage, but there's no defensive step to it. It's just done. So I think this kind of is found a home probably in mission play. It's situational. It's certainly not a friendly card, but it's definitely a thematic card, and I like that. Uh, Disruptive Bombardment is a great card. It's 2 points, can only go on a Gorn Raider. You attack, put 3 mission tokens on the card, place a mission token out in your forward arc within range 1 to 2, and target all opposing ships within range 1 of that mission token. So if you stretch it, you can get out to range 3. You make a separate attack roll against each target ship. This attack can't be obstructed by obstacles or planets, and then you discard the mission token. But what's really cool, you're making a 4-die attack against every ship you can get in range. And this card's not unique. And there's enough cool ways to take mission tokens off of weapons. Balana's Codes, the Klingon card, I think it's Kalana. There's several Federation cards that take them off. And that makes Disruptor Bombardment repeatable, reusable, and highly effective, because almost nothing else in the game fires 4 dice consistently. Disruptor Sweep does it, but that's still a disable. Torpedo Fusillade does it, but that's a one-time. And even then, those 2 cards are based on primary weapon value. So this, while limited to Gorn, is the card that made Gorn super playable. And that's why I enjoy Disruptor Bombardment. Enhanced Durability adds a tech upgrade, so it's a self-replacing tech. And then it increases shield and agility values by 1. So makes you more agile. It's very similar to a card the Andorians got, and I like the Andorians. This is a card that the Gorn need sometimes. They don't need it other times. It depends on the play style you're going for. It depends on the mission you're going for. It's 4 points well invested if you so choose. There are times you want it. There are times you don't want it. And that makes this card really good, because it's not a must-have, but it's if it fits your build, it's a great card. Gorn Sensors is another intriguing card. Again, can only go on the Gorn Raider, but it's 3 points, and when you attack at range 1 with primary weapon, you get an extra attack die. You're doubling that range 1 bonus. And when you attack with a secondary weapon at range 1, you actually get the combat bonus. So it's giving you extra attack dice. Again, it depends on your build. But Gorn Sensors with Disruptor Bombardment, if you can do it right, is actually a really potent combo. And it all just comes down to, how are you running your ship? How are you going to do everything that you need to do? Sometimes it works great. Sometimes it doesn't. That's just kind of the story of the game. STAW is a crew, 5 points, and for an action, you remove the card from play, target an opposing ship at range 1, disable a crew upgrade equipped to the target ship, and deal a crit to the target ship's hull. While I'm not a fan of the remove card from play and then disable a crew in return, right? That's not a great trade-off. I'm losing the card. They get it back with an action. But the fact that I get to do a crit to a ship, even if they're cloaked, even if they have shields, that can be pretty good. STAW in a Matt Decker fleet is a nice combination. I'm thinking of just pieces that work on dealing damage in different ways. So I'm looking at Decker, STAW, Hidden Explosives, I Stab at Thee. There's a couple more cards like that. But all of those in conjunction, you start having a fleet that puts out a lot of damage that that makes your opponent kind of go, oh wait, I don't actually, I'm not losing by being attacked. I'm losing just by existing and being in range, and that gets scary because it's really hard to counter. And then we have Gorn Pilot, and I think this was a straight reprint from the Scorn. But for 3 points, action, if the ship performed a straight maneuver this game round, disable the card, perform a 1 white straight maneuver. Boy, they had a chance to make this better, a better Gorn pilot, and they didn't. I guess the Gorn are not known for their piloting skills. Because an action to do a 1 white straight, I guess the upside is you don't lose your attack. But this hurts as an action disabled this late in the game design cycle. Card packs, we just ask for better. We expect better than action disable for something as relatively trivial as a 1 straight. Yeah, I can't really get on board with this card. There are times extra maneuvering is still great, but give it to me in places where it really matters. Gorn Trooper is intriguing. For each Gorn Trooper you have on the ship, increase the captain skill by 1. When attacking, disable the card to reroll 1 attack die. The fact that you can stack these, put 3 on, get your captain skill boost is nice. The disable to reroll is okay. It can be useful, but 50-50 if it's actually going to help you. Or 75-25 if you have the battle stations token. I don't find myself running Gorn Troopers. I'll find a cheaper way to boost captain skill. Plus, Gorn don't typically have enough crew slots to run this. I mean, it doesn't just say Gorn ship, but the disable to re-enable multiples of these, you're looking at some rough actions, or needing something like Phlox, which then is another crew slot, and is it really worth it? Typically, I'd say no, because you're better off having a better ability than disable to reroll 1 attack die. All right, and then the fun one, Meridor Gorn Ale. Doesn't take an upgrade slot. Can only go on an independent ship, but we can circumvent that with captured, because that makes anything independent. So that's a 2-point combo. No, 3-point combo. And then activation phase, place 3 time tokens on this card. Decrease the captain skill of the captain equipped to this ship by up to 2 this game round, so 1 or 2. And increase the ship's primary weapon value by the same amount this game round. So, if you get have a little bit of Gorn Ale, you somehow get a little bit more primary weapon value. If you have a lot more Gorn Ale, then you get a lot more primary weapon value. I don't understand the thematicism here, but I like the card. It's great fun. And people run this with Dahar Masters, and really, really cool card. Meridor Gorn Ale is a nice trade-off. Even straight up, even with doing nothing else to boost your captain skill. This works great with Carr, the Hirogen captain. I see it working very nicely with the new independent captain that's previewed on Adversaries of Delta Quadrant, who's a skill 8, and you drop him down to skill 6. You don't really lose a whole lot there, and you're still getting good stuff, and you've got a better primary weapon value. Any captain that you can afford to drop just a little bit, and you're getting more attack dice out of it. This is the great trade-off. It's not an action to get more attack dice. It's just It's just captain skill. That trade-off works for me. So I say I've hit the 20-minute mark, and that tells me it's time to wrap things up. So overall, where are we at? This is a fantastic card pack. I think it might be my favorite. I will let you know after I've done all of them because I'll probably do a rank 'em of the card packs. But it's certainly one of the best. Not everything is amazing. I'm staring at Gorn Trooper and Gorn Pilot. A lot of it has use, and that's what this pack does. A lot of the card packs did that. They created cards that were fun, that were interesting, that brought the existing items for that faction or that ship up in prominence and said, hey, here's some more toys for the toy box of this ship. And the Gorn benefited immensely from their card pack. If you are intrigued by the Gorn, if you like the Gorn in any measurable way, I would say you got to check out this card pack. You got to track one down. Even get multiples because a couple of disruptor bombardments make your fleet even better. But don't go crazy on them. I think 2 or 3 is the max because you can only run as many disruptor bombardments as you have named Gorn ships, since the generics don't get a weapon slot. Actually, the generics in this card pack do. So there's that. I forgot to mention that. See, that's really good. That's where you get disruptor bombardment. But yeah, so yes, you can run as many Gorn Raiders as you have physical models, and I think that's a limit, but it's a cool combo, and I like that. So anyway, yeah, Gorn Raider card pack. Track it down. They are becoming a little harder to get, but they're still out there. Find them, get them, enjoy them. Keep brushing up your game. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it. Take care.